Lionel Baratheon's armor. I'm like divided in two big extremes. His breastplate, pauldrons, gauntlets, gorget. I think I love everything about it. And then we come to his helmet.
Shadiversity.
Greetings, I'm Shad.
And greetings, I'm Tyranth.
And Tyranth, I love Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Isn't it great?
Top tier television. It's probably currently my most favorite, like George R. R. Martin adaptation, because I have a lot of thoughts on House of the Dragon and some stuff they've been doing with that. I'm really worried about this next season. Stuff that they've deviated from the books in a lot of ways. And then obviously we know how Game of Thrones went. Anyway, but this is fantastic, man.
This is brilliant. And not only like is I think it, in my opinion, the best, Game of Thrones media made so far. It's one of my favorite just stories. I've loved the graphic novel for years. It's been one of my favorites. It's about like medieval knighthood. And one of the things I love is just all the medieval accurate elements in it. The adaptation was done so well. I've got kind of discussions and reviews with Mike S. Miller, who is the artist of the graphic novel, right? So he worked directly with George Martin on this stuff. Brilliant. And so I get to talk with Mike. He's a mate of mine because he's also the artist of the Shadow of the Conqueror graphic novel. And so that's on Night's Watch if you want to see our discussion and even episode like reviews on our live stream on Night's Watch. And on Shadiversity, I've been loving diving into the medieval aspects on it. We've tested out the helmet strike, if you know, you know. We've also looked at a full fight scene breakdown of the Trial of Seven. And now I want to look at the armor, like a close kind of analysis of the armor we're seeing, because this is some of the better medieval armor we've seen put to screen. In ages.
Yep. There's only one I don't like. Actually, there's only one helmet that I don't like. Everything else I just love. Yeah.
Well, overall, like I said, I think they've done a brilliant job.
Yeah.
There are little things that we will be talking about. So I want to go through everyone's armor that we see here, basically.
Okay.
But let's start off with Dunk's armor. So Duncan's. Now, this is Dunk right here. Interestingly enough, right, it's the cheaper type of armor in comparison to what we see other knights
It's
wearing.
the cheapest armor that we see for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very realistic. And what I mean by that is if you don't have much money, the first thing that you're going to kind of want to get is some mail, right? Like that's your best bet. Then what do you get from that? It's like, well, I can't afford a full, set of plate. Or what if I need to protect my hands? I got to protect my head. I got to protect my neck. Like you get these little pieces before you get the whole thing, right? And this is just awesome.
Yeah, it is absolutely brilliant. And one of the things interesting about the helmet, it's kind of similar to my helmet right there. And so is it perfectly historically accurate? I mean, there's some type of debate around this helmet, but this one is actually a pretty decent execution.
Why are you talking about the helm?
The helmet at the moment. The chainmail is chainmail. You can't go wrong with chainmail. The gorget, I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And again, that's one of the next, like, all right, you got your helmet, you got your chainmail. He has his greaves, which are a bit hard to see on this one right here. And these are kind of mitten, gauntlets. Sorry, I called them greaves before. No, gauntlets. They're kind of mitten gauntlets. Great. And so overall, this is actually brilliant, really accurate. My one pick is actually not the armor. It's what he's wearing over the armor. So, and look, they got this from the graphic novel, so props for adapting it accurately. But what he's wearing is it's called a monastic scapular. And they did exist in the medieval period, but knights rarely wore them over their armor. Knights usually wore jupons, brocades. There's like an obscure German name for the types of brocaded overcoats that we wear over their armor. And then there's also tabards as well. People have wrongly identified the monastic scapula, which is the single bit of cloth that goes down and then between the legs, the kind of classic paladin thing, as a tabard, which it's not. But that's in fantasy, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it adds color. It adds like a little, it's just, mail can be a bit boring, and this adds a visual element to his character.
Yeah.
In a obviously a very, I would say, iconic way. because he continues to wear it, you know.
Absolutely. All right, next up, Baelor Targaryen.
Or Velaz, yeah.
Or Velaz, his son's armor. So overall, I love it.
Love it.
Yeah. What are you loving about this?
I love all that fluting.
The fluting.
It's gorgeous.
And not only that, the details where the peaks of the flute, they've kind of rubbed off from wear, giving it a more kind of, worn appearance, that is what happens, all right? Armor was painted in medieval period, and this is kind of the result of what would happen. So the fluting looks gorgeous. The gorget, I'm on the fence about, because there are cases where gorgets were under the breastplate, and the fact that it's over top means a sword could go under the gorget and kind of hit something. And it looks like he's getting a bit choked by it.
Usually there's going to be rolled edges under the breastplate anyway, so if anything gets underneath, and you're usually wearing mail or something as well, so there's like 3 layers of stopping things. So I'm okay with it.
The crest. All right. If we're being accurate about medieval heraldry, this is the device or the sigil. The crest is actually the thing that's on the top of the helmet, which is the crest of the helmet. All right, so the sigil device here, yep, like Targaryen, looks good. Looks like it's just a round kind of thing attached to it. Usually they might work it into the breastplate more.
Yeah.
But I think this is a perfectly valid execution of how they might do it.
Yeah. The only issue I have with it is that it's like it has a lot of 3-dimensional aspects to it that is not any good at arm angling. If something hits that, it's not going anywhere except right there. That's my only issue with it, but this is more of a style over function type deal. But apart from that, this is my favorite, probably, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, one kind of issue I have is whatever garbage is wearing around his waist, right? Like, this is just fantasy crap. Where they have like just plates of leather or something, and it's so bad. Like, if a sword strike went to it, it would easily bend in and then it would slide into the gap, and it's kind of trash.
Yeah, like, because I know that there's different armor. Like, don't quote me on this, but I know for like the samurai armor, they have these big kind of, I'm just going to call them tassets because I'm not sure what they're actually called, but they're kind of plated things similar to this. They look very similar.
Kind of, but they're metal plated and usually connected by mail rings.
But I don't know if this is metal or not.
I think it's leather. That's why, and it looks, yeah. And so I'm not a fan of seeing this in fantasy. It's a common thing. Do you remember the Stark armor from Game of Thrones season 1, where it just had clear, distinct metal plates under leather, but big gaps in between, and they just went with it because it looks cool when it's nonsense. Now, there is kind of layered armor like this, like lamellar armor, and thick leather kind of scales. This is not that.
Well, to me, the Stark armor always looked like terrible brigandine, like leather brigandine type deal. The biggest issue, like you mentioned, was there's just huge channels between all of the plates, so it doesn't really work that well. But it always was more to brig to me. That's what I felt like. The
other thing that we could comment on, now it's harder to see here, but if you're familiar with armor and you're looking closely, you can tell that the thickness of this armor is like 1 mil.
Yeah, but like you can get heat-treated armor, so...
Yes, I mean, but real armor that you need to protective, you're going 2 mil thick on the important parts. I'm not saying it can't get to like 1 mil in some of the...
Yeah, exactly. Usually when you stretch a breastplate out, it's going to be thickest around here and thinner towards the edge. So that definitely happens as well. And we can give the charitability that all the edges we see are the edges of the armor. So maybe it's the thinnest at the edge. Maybe.
This as a helmet... Like, I would have only one nitpick to it, but overall, I do really like it.
I really like it. Yeah. I don't know if I would ever, like, wear it functionally, personally, because, like, that eye gap is massive.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. The nitpick I would have is the huge oculara on the helmet. Now, having said that, though, historically, I mean, there were cases where it was a bit bigger, and you had like the barbute helmet is a perfect example where this is kind of like a barbute, especially when it's without the visor, and the barbute helmets did have, you know, some larger openings on the eyes.
This one's a bit bigger though, but overall I really like it, but I like the design of it, right? I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would wear it personally,
because like if we look at some other, you know, barbute helmet, that's a sizable eye gap right there, and this is basically that with a covering over the mouth, and where like that one is more based off a historical replica. Like, oh, here, look here, Okay, this is a historical one.
Yeah, but that eye gap there is something similar to like that.
Yeah, it's a bit bigger, but then, there are things like this. Like
I'm saying rule of cool pushes it, and I'm fine with it.
I'm actually kind of okay in fantasy with eye gaps that kind of reach this range, because there is some precedent historically. And if you've ever worn a real helmet, that vision is really restrictive.
Yeah.
And I could see a knight thinking, I'm going to make myself that little bit more vulnerable around the eyes for better vision in combat. I could see someone trading that off.
Yeah, but overall, I really dig the design personally.
Like
Super
the fluting.
It's gorgeous.
And look at the shaping here. It's really, really cool.
In this week's exclusive, we are talking about the rapier. Now, we love the rapier. It is one of the most deadly swords ever made, but there are actually a lot of situations where it might not be the best. Shock horror. What are those situations? We talk about that in the exclusive video, and supporters of the channel get access to this video and all the exclusive content. We are talking years of brilliant videos. These are videos as big as our main ones on Shadiversity, but that the algorithm doesn't really, shine favor upon, but it's the content that we love. Talking about nerdy things, does it actually make sense to have wheelchairs in a fantasy setting? What's the best armor to wear against Dragonfire? Really fun, classic Shadiversity content like that, and it's all there for $1 a month. That's all you need to give. And genuinely, that is what's sustaining us. And it's thanks to our supporters because of that. And then we can make these classic videos for you guys. And you can support us through Patreon, Subscribe Star, or channel memberships. And that's what keeps us going. And then you get this week's exclusive as well as all the exclusive content. Cheers, guys.
All right, now we come to Aerion Targaryen's armor. Now there is some distinct similarities with Baelor's or
like the design language, obviously, yeah.
But there are also some differences. And so instead of fluting, it's kind of like segmented fluting.
Yes, but I think it's just one solid piece. I think that's just a design type deal. So, I think I like this one as well. I don't know about the spikes. Spikes are one of those things where they seem like a good idea until you ever actually have to use them.
Well, I haven't tried to wear spikes. Have you, Tyranth?
Yeah, I've tried to wear horns.
Horns?
Yeah. You wouldn't. I mean, maybe you would believe how often, if you try and do something, you smash
I
them.
know your edgy pauldrons suck balls with it.
No.
Yeah, they do.
Those spikes point away from me, and if anybody tries to get close to me,
so you like that because it hooks me all the time.
Yeah,
pieces
but
of crap.
I'm talking about spikes that come off of your body.
Do you reckon there's a chance those spikes might? Because look, I can get my shoulder right near my head, okay, and I've actually knocked myself in the tooth with one of my pauldrons from the wing section right here. And so that can actually hit you in the face. And if you have spikes, you might actually spike yourself in the face.
I don't think you would spike yourself, but it's one of those things where, first off, which way are the spikes pointing? Which direction?
Well, they're pointing at his face.
But what I mean is if a blow was to come, are those spikes lifting the blade up and then into the head? Or
yeah, if they were down, they could trap
the blades, yeah. So I always, because in a lot of fantasy, you see a lot of spikes, and they're often purely just aesthetic, and they're not really practical or thought out well enough. Even just think about it, putting them on, right? You have to, how do you hold them? It's just little things like that where it's are they really needed? Apart from that, I love the rest of his armor, except for the helmet.
I don't think I like the helmet either. It's just, I don't know.
I hate the mohawk, red hair.
Too kind of now, I think it suits his character where he wants to be a dragon, but aesthetically, I don't like it. Look, the eye slits seem to be smaller. That's something.
Well, look, we can see, right? We can see there's no padding around the helmet. We can see there's no padding.
That's an issue.
Not a fan of that. It's also very short. You see his neck?
Yeah, look at the gap right here. That's interesting.
And there's no mail or anything like that.
That is a good point. A good helmet, you want to either come over the bevel that's kind of going to be coming up around the neck. And so I'm not saying they all do that, because even my own helmet, if we just switch to here, doesn't go down huge, but that's where you want the bevel to kind of come up and compensate.
But this, at least on the image, it looks very short.
Yeah, I can.
So no padding, very short, and then the
bevel, gorget. Sorry, I get it mixed up, gorget and bevel. But anyway.
The faceplate is very fitted.
Yes,
which I would not want. because it means that there's no room in there to absorb any impact. It's just going straight into your face.
In terms of like medieval jousts, it wasn't uncommon for them to have very decorative crests on their helmets that were like doing weird things that could be a detriment in combat. So I wouldn't necessarily give it negative historical points to that, but functionally it is an issue.
But this is worse than that. Look at this. This is the perfect spot to hit right there. A sword's not going anywhere except directly into that head.
I don't know. See, I think that's just extra metal that would prevent the sword going in.
Because it's like hair. It like has little indents. Look,
sword right reckon there, a channel
sword
there.
Right there.
See,
all along down.
I think
here.
that would just trap your sword if you tried to hit it there.
I do not.
Mate,
you're going to be trapped with people's swords with your head.
You might knock the visor open because those spikes are literally attached to his visor.
Yeah.
And that could be a leverage point to knock the visor off, which could be an issue. And by the way, he actually gets his visor dislodged and knocked off by Dunk in the fight. So that's an interesting thing that might even be relevant in the combat of the show.
Maybe, yeah.
Next up, Lionel Baratheon's armor. I'm like divided in two big extremes. His breastplate, pauldrons, gauntlets, gorget. I think I love everything about it. I like this is some of the most historically authentic looking armor because the Targaryen ones is a bit more like embellished to be dragon-like and stuff, where this just is like flat inspiration from history. And then we come to his helmet.
Yeah. So, right. Personally speaking, I like the Targaryen armor more just because like it's fantasy, right? I'm all about that. I like his armor.
Now, a point of reference, we have samurai helmets that have big horns on them, and they were annoying as anything.
That makes them very unbalanced.
Exactly. Like I did not like it. I think this is in line with his character. So one thing that we missed out with Lionel Baratheon is called the Laughing Storm. But one of the things he would do in the tourneys is once he gets into the melee, he would always chop off the crest of his opponent's helmets as a type of demoralizing thing. And it kind of fits that that's the very thing he targets, but he has some of the biggest, adornments on his helmet out of anyone, yet very, very few people, if anyone, have ever been able to knock those off of his helmet because it's just that, that tough.
What do you think of the vertical slits?
Overall, I think I hate them. But it's not to say that they're...
I'm pretty sure there is some, an example of
I know.
vertical slits.
Like, there are helmets... What's the one that has just like a bar going down the middle and then 2 bars on the side?
I can't remember.
We had that in our helmet video, actually. I think Nate brought it.
All right. So the context is I know what the art is supposed to look like, and the art is...
The art of Baelor's helmet is perfect. And they didn't do it. They gave us... Sorry, Baratheon's one. Lionel? Yes, Lionel Baratheon.
The art is like some of the one of the coolest helms.
Well, let's just show it off right now. It's right here. Look at this.
That's what you were robbed of.
Exactly. That is just peak right there.
That's cool.
And so that's what we should have gotten. And by the way, just look how chunky that armor looks as well. This is a truly peak depiction of Lionel Baratheon right there. That is just so cool. But going to this is just looks honestly goofy in comparison. I'm not saying there isn't historical precedent for it. And look, there are open face helmets. You wouldn't really choose to have an open face helmet in a joust, right?
I just don't think it looks good.
Well, this would not protect you against a lance. A lance would easily find one of those gaps. It wouldn't protect you against a thrust from a sword. The only thing is slashes. It's good against slashes, but other than that, it looks goofy and it has major flaws.
Yeah.
And the other thing, look at the gap between the helmet and the gorget. Yeah. That's just decapitation territory right there. It's just I hate it. I hate this helmet.
Yeah.
But I love his armor. So, you win some, you lose some.
Well, I don't understand why they couldn't just do the other helm from the art. They could absolutely
exactly,
do it. Why did they choose this? That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah. Let's do a quick fire kind of analysis on some of these other armors and then do one last deeper analysis. And so Maekar's armor is kind of in the same vein as
all the other Targaryen ones.
Same compliments, detriments. I forget this guy's name.
I can't remember the top of my head.
Bannister or something. But I like the fact that his coif goes over his missing eye. You don't see enough padding though underneath the coif, and it's just kind of mail with a couple of plates in. It's actually like in terms of the mail and the plates, I like that. That is historical reference.
The Kingsguard armor is my favorite, just behind the Targaryen armor.
All right, we might have to do
loved the Kingsguard armor.
Let's go close on the Kingsguard. Yeah, that's like
because like it's in the vein of the Targaryen stuff, but not as like flashy.
I love the kind of man, my brain just went dead. Not Spolders. Tassets. I kind of like the tassets here, that the dragon wings. So real armor is usually more form-fitting and shaped. I think it would look better if it had a more prominent ridge down the center.
I agree. It's very kind of flat, but I dig it. It's nothing too crazy, but it's just so nice to look at.
It is. My last criticism is the gorget. It's just this big kind of neck thing sitting over the top, which is a bit out of place. Yeah. That could be shaped
the only other thing I would say is like you could probably chuck some mail on.
You know what's kind of bothering me? Like Dunk's gorget is perfectly shaped to his neck and his shoulders and is sitting kind of flush. But then you have gorgets like this, which is like right there, and then they're not closing around the neck properly either, and they're not giving right protection. And so they kind of get the gorgets wrong in a lot of the full plate armors except for Dunk's.
So you're saying that the main character, his armor fits really well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who would have thought.
But his one, but overall, I love that this is far more in line with what the Kingsguard armor should be.
Yeah.
It's white armor. And there are some subtle, simple things that I do like about it. There's a lot of little fluting here, the tassets, gauntlets, I love. Pauldrons are great. Stefan Fossaway's armor. This one got it's shiny, got a lot of attention, okay? And, okay, I don't love it, actually.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. But what I do like about it is, of course, the Fossaway theme, the apples, all over it and everything. I wonder if those are actually pushed out and indented from the inside of the armor, or if those are like just slapped on top. Slapped on top would be more secure. I'm assuming it would have to be bronze brushed.
Just heat tempered. Yeah.
You can't get a heat temper that color, can you?
Yeah, like a golden straw color. Yeah, pretty sure you can.
That seems way stronger. Maybe I'm wrong.
We'll throw up a heat color chart of steel.
But that could throw off the timber then, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'm pretty sure you can do it.
There are ways to get the armor to that color.
I think the color is not important.
Yeah, but you could just, the bronze brushes.
Yes, you can, yes. Yeah.
That's one way to do it. But in terms of the pauldrons, the shape, the design, that's decently all right. I think it's perfectly on with his character. It's flamboyant, like he likes to show off.
I don't like that helmet.
What we're seeing
we
here
don't really see much of it, and I can't really remember seeing it in the show, but I don't like
Look, that's the visor of the helmet. That is weird. That's some weird sci-fi garbage visor there. And so we don't actually see it in the show, or I don't remember seeing it. But this high-res picture, we got a shot of it here. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. I mean, overall, I'd probably give his arm, we haven't been giving scores, but I'm going to just throw one out. Maybe a 5 out of 10 for Stefan.
It's functional.
Yeah, it's functional. It's okay. I mean, one thing I need to give props for, that sword, that is no joke, an Albion sword. Well, they've copied the design from an Albion sword. I'm not kidding. And it comes up multiple times. This exact design also came up in the Outlaw King. And I pointed out because I recognized it as an Albion sword then. And then I see it again here because I know about it's got the upswept crossguard and the distinctive will pummel. I just recognize that sword now. And why is it appearing in multiple media? I don't know.
Probably just like a reused prop then from
possibly
production companies.
You're right. Look at that.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
It is so hard to see. It's hard to
quick,
see.
Yeah.
Because, but wow, see the dragon kind of fluting.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually, that looks peak.
I like it, yeah.
Wow.
And it's like 1 second. I'm like, man, that's
I know, you can barely see it at all. And ready? We'll play and blink and you miss it, right? There, that was it.
That's it.
That was it. Oh my gosh. But you're right. That was actually really, really cool. But overall, even though there are some criticisms, this is a big step up in functional, medieval, authentic armor.
What are the criticisms though? This is the thing, is like, I enjoy it. It's good. It's awesome. And I'm happy with it.
Lionel's helmet.
Okay, that no. But the thing is, they messed that up though. Okay, they could have just went with the art, and it would have been way cooler. They had to do their own thing. But apart from that, everything else is cool.
Like I said, it's really, really good. Some of the best we've seen on screen. And my favorite might actually be Dunk's. It's just plain simple, but effective. His helmet is just plain, totally functional. He's got a solid gorget, chainmail, good gauntlets. I think his armor is my favorite. What's yours?
It's still going to be Baelor / Valar's. It's so cool.
Guys, what's your favorite armor from Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? Let us know in the comments below. And check out our video where we put this helmet to the test to see, well, you probably already seen it. That video's done pretty well. Check out the one that people have missed, the fight scene breakdown. We do a full fight scene breakdown of the Trial of Seven. It's right there. Hope to see you guys there. Cheers.